The XYZ Festival. It's a good thing I already have my rank 8 XYZ deck built, so let's get to some games. Oh. So the XYZ Festival custom ban list has thrown a bit of a wrench into our deck, but that's okay, because we can make up for it. Specifically, the way I really want to make up for Gizmecharochi and Interrupted Kaiju Slumber in this deck is through this card, Smoke Mosquito. Now, I had never heard of this card before until a friend of mine introduced it to me, another GREN MAJU player, and it's sort of insane. I'm really surprised I hadn't heard of it before, and only until I found out that it actually is not released in the TCG or in the OCG, I think. It's a Master Duel exclusive for now and is going to be releasing in Battles of Chaos in the TCG, I believe. So now, Smoke Mosquito is, in a lot of ways, it's sort of like a Battle Fader meets Astral Karibo. And if that sounds not that good, trust me, it is actually pretty good. So let's read this guy's effect. During damage calculation, if you would take battle damage from an opponent's monster's attack, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, the damage you take from that battle is halved. Also, end the battle phase after the damage step. You can target one face-up monster you control. This card's level becomes the same as that monster's until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect to Smoke Mosquito once per turn. So what this essentially means is if, for whatever reason, you make it to your opponent's battle phase and you don't have a board set up, you can summon this guy. The battle phase ends, and due to the way this card works, your opponent won't get a replay, which means that once you do special summon Smoke Mosquito during the battle phase ends and they can't destroy it by battle then. They'll have to use some sort of other effect in their main phase 2 or in your turn to try and get rid of it. Hopefully, he'll last until the next turn. Usually he does. Hopefully he'll last until the next turn, and then you can summon another rank 8, use this guy's effect to make him a rank 8, and then go into any of your XYZ plays. The other thing that Smoke Mosquito is good for is that it is a very good normal summon. So much of this deck is based around special summoning. You know, you have your Kaijus, you have your Astral Karibos. So if you're in a place where you can use your normal summon, you don't have to use it on a powered up GREN MAJU, and you have the Smoke Mosquito in hand, it's a great option. Now, the downside to this is that, of course, we're also playing the Golden Castle engine, and if you special summon something off of Golden Castle, it locks you out of your normal summon for the turn. But if you're not in that situation and you don't have a GREN MAJU to slam down or something like that, then Smoke Mosquito is a fantastic option. And if you're going to be playing this outside of the XYZ Festival, you know, where we have Gizmecharochi and Interrupted Kaiju Slumber back, I think it makes Smoke Mosquito even better. It's amazing that this card is not seeing more play than it is. I think it's just because it's such an obscure card that people haven't really seen it yet. And also it has a somewhat lewd looking artwork. But one thing that this card does, which is really powerful, is if you play it in the same deck as Astral Karibo, not replacing Astral Karibo, but putting them together, you can use these two to essentially make any number monster in your deck just right on your first turn. You use Astral Karibo to select any of the XYZ monsters to set its level, then you normal summon Smoke Mosquito and use its effect to copy Astral Karibo's level, and then you can go into any of the XYZ that you want. Aside from Smoke Mosquito, there's a few more new inclusions to this deck, the most important of which I think is Dimension Shifter. Now, Dimension Shifter is an extremely powerful hand trap. I actually played Dimension Shifter in real life, but I never thought it was going to be worth it to play it in Master Duel just because we have Maxi, and Maxi was taking up the room that I would usually use for Dimension Shifter. What Dimension Shifter does is, on a quick effect, if you have no cards in your graveyard, you can discard it, and then until the end of the next turn, any card that's sent to the graveyard gets banished instead. That's any card, monsters, spells, and traps. It's like a macrocosmos on legs. Now, you're never going to summon Dimension Shifter, and it is heartbreaking when you draw Dimension Shifter off of Pot of Desires or a Maxi, but if you open Dimension Shifter going second, for so many decks, it just shuts them down. Drytron is a big one. If you use a Dimension Shifter against Drytron, 9 times out of 10, they will skip their first turn, giving it to you and hopefully giving you the chance to OTK. Aside from that, I've also included one Raigeki. It sort of makes up for the Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. It's not as good, but it's there, and I figure that combined with Lightning Storm, it's a good way to make sure you have board clearing power so you can set up your OTKs. So that's the main deck, but of course we've also got the extra deck, which is the key to this XYZ Festival. As you know, in our original GREN MAJU deck, we had a lot of Link monsters as well. We also had one Synchro monster, so we've had to replace them for this, and I think I found some good replacements. We have the standards that we always had. We have Numeron Dragon, we have Nightmare Shark, we have Baguska, we have all the rank 8s, but I've also added a few more. So we also have the Phantom Knights of Breaksword. You can make this with a Smoke Mosquito or an Astral Karibo plus a GREN MAJU. It's just some good removal. Bamboozling Gossip Shadow gives you a little bit of draw power and also can mess up some of your opponent's activations. Diamond Direwolf is just standard removal. Lancelot is one that I also play in real life, and I played a lot in the original build of this deck. I'm still not entirely sure how I feel about it. It's a direct attacker, which is good if you're dealing with something like Crooked Cook, but it also comes with a downside that you really need to remember, in that the first time per turn that a monster or a spell trap effect is activated, it will negate it, and that is mandatory, which means that it also affects your own activations. So if you summon this thing and then just forget about it and then activate something else, it will negate your own activation and mess up your own combos, which can be infuriating. And I have, on more than one occasion, fallen into that trap and then just surrendered immediately out of shame. But its direct attacking ability, its removal ability, its negation ability, if you can remember not to run into it yourself, is incredibly powerful. I've also added Teardrop the Rika Queen, which is one of the weirdest cards to have a summoning animation, I think, in the entire game. Teardrop is not great unless you're playing an actual plant deck, which we're not. The one thing it has is that it does have removal in the form of tributing. That's sort of like the Kaijus, in that there is almost no card in the entire game that can resist tributing. So if you have an opponent that's set up a massive monster that's unaffected by all other card effects, tributing it will get past almost all of those protections, and it's pretty great. In terms of our Draglubion combo, I've also added Heart Earth Dragon. Again, I have pretty much never summoned Heart Earth Dragon, but I know that in the right situation it can be extremely powerful. It's sort of like an Amazon, a swordswoman, in that it has 0 attack, you can attack into something and your opponent will take all the damage, and if it is destroyed, it can come back, it has some recursion, so it's great in that way. And then of course for the XYZ Festival we have Divine Arsenal, AA Zeus. It's an XYZ Festival, it's an XYZ deck, you gotta play it. So, now that we've coped with the loss of our favorite cards, let's actually get into some games and see what Smoke Mosquito can do. So first, let's show off Smoke Mosquito in the absolute simplest match in the world. It's us against Cyber Dragon. We're going to start out with double Smoke Mosquito, double Lightning Storm, and an Astral Karibo. I'm going to speed through their turn right here. They're basically just doing a very basic Galaxy Soldier combo to go into Cyber Dragon Nova and then eventually end on Cyber Dragon Infinity. Now we have a few good cards here. We're going to start with a Lightning Storm to bait out the Cyber Dragon Infinity's negate. It's going to chain the negate, and then we're going to follow up with Dimension Shifter. Now, I don't think that we're going to be giving them another turn, so this doesn't really matter all that much, but the Dimension Shifter is in my hand, I might as well use it. So we're going to follow up with another Lightning Storm to finally destroy the Infinity. We're going to activate Astral Karibo, revealing Lancelot, and then we are going to normal summon Smoke Mosquito, copy the level 8 off of the Astral Karibo so we have 2 8s, then we're going to go into number 97 Draglubion, you know where we go from here, detach a material to summon out number 100 Numeron Dragon, detach a material from Numeron Dragon to get it up to 9,000 attack, and attack in for game. This next match is a bit more complicated. We're going second against Pendulum, and we start out with a pretty good hand here. So they're going to start out by scaling Reflection of Endymion. We're going to chain Maxi. My opinion is if you're enough of an asshole to play Pendulum, at least I'm going to get some advantage off of you. So they're going to activate some other Pendulum card, chain up some Magicians, activate Chicken Game, draw 1, activate Chicken Game, draw another, love Chicken Game. Activate another Pendulum card. I am not reading any of these. Eventually summon out Endymion, the Mighty Master of Magic. So they're going to draw us another Kaiju, but they're eventually going to activate Secret Village of the Spellcasters, which can put a big dent in our strategy. So we're going to pitch Glyph the Phantom Bird to pick up a Golden Castle of Stromberg. We can't use that Dimension Shifter, unfortunately, because we already had a Max C Engrave. Going to tribute off their Endymion for a Gamma Seal, give ourselves a Gamma Seal of our own. Special summon Astro Karibo by revealing Lancelot, and now we have 2 8s. We're going to go into Draglubion. However, they are going to reveal a card in their hand that I have never seen before, and unfortunately has the effect where it can remove spell counters from the field to bounce our Draglubion back into the extra deck and waste the materials. Unfortunately, we can't do anything else from here because they have Secret Village of the Spellcasters up. We can't even activate Golden Castle of Stromberg, and we've already used our normal summon, so Smoke Mosquito can't get out onto the field. However, Smoke Mosquito not making it onto the field might be good for us, so we're passing it back to them. Again, they're activating a whole bunch of Pendulum cards that I am not reading, but then they are going to Pendulum summon out 3 separate copies of Endymion, the Mighty Master of Magic. So on board, they have way more than lethal, but they're still going. They're going to overlay 2 Endymions into a harmonizing something, and then they're going to attach our Gamma Seal, and they're going to attack directly, but we have Smoke Mosquito, so we were able to phase the battle phase, take only half damage from the Endymion, and start our turn with a monster out on the field. So we are going to activate Astro Karibo, reveal Draglubion so we can put it out on the field with a level 8, use Smoke Mosquito's effect to copy that level 8 again, and then go into Draglubion. You know where this is going. Draglubion comes down, detach a material from Draglubion to summon out number 100. They are going to chain their harmonizing Gradiel so they can take our Smoke Mosquito. It does not really matter. Just the only interaction they can make. We are going to summon out number 100, detach a material to get it up to 16,000 attack and destroy them in one blow. I totally forgot to record an outro to this video, so Smoke Mosquito GREN MAJU, very fun, very powerful. Go play it forever.